Hello, so what we're going to be doing in this video is walking through a class example in Python. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a plant class with three instance attributes: their plant name as a string, plant cost as a float, and plant quantity as an int. The class should include an init method to initialize a plant object and a str method to describe an initialized plant object. And then it should include an instance method, inventory costs, that returns the inventory cost for each plant. After the plant class code, you're going to prompt the user to enter a plant name, plant cost, and plant quantity. Instantiate a plant object by passing in the user's input as the arguments, and display the plant's attributes by calling the str method. And then you're going to call the inventory cost method to display the inventory cost of the plant. Okay, so I've already gone in and created the code for this program. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and open that code in idle, and we'll walk through the code line by line. So let me just go ahead, open it up. So what we have here is we have a comment talking about what the class includes. It includes a name, a cost, and quantity attributes. So what we have next is the keyword class, and then the name of our class, which is the plant, and then a colon. And then anything included in the class, either the init, the str method, or any other instant methods, those are indented underneath the class. So the first thing we need to do is we need to go in and define our init method. And the one thing that you want to remember is that the init method begins with two underscores and ends with two underscores. So it's not one underscore, it's two underscores. And then it's the init keyword. And then after that, what we do is we specify self. And that is always the first variable when you create a method in a Python class. And when a new class instance is created, the instance is automatically passed to the self parameter in the init so that new attributes can be defined on the object. So that's why we always specify self. If you wanted to, self is not a keyword in Python, so you could use this or some other naming convention. But by default, when you're using Python, you should be using self as the variable that refers to the instance of the class that's getting passed in. And then after that, we have our three instance attributes. We have our plant name, our plant cost, and our plant quantity. And then we have our colon. So basically everything within the init function must be indented under the init. So what we're doing here is we're taking the plant name that gets passed in, the plant cost that gets passed in, and the plant quantity that gets passed in, and we're setting the attributes on the object that has been created by the init function. So when that function is actually called within your program, what it'll do is it'll go ahead and create an object, and it'll set the values for these three instance variables: the plant name, plant cost, and plant quantity. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to add the str method, and basically what that does is that allows you to print information about the state of the object that you created. So again, this is a double underscore. It's not one underscore, but two underscores to the left and to the right of the str. And then again, you have to pass in self, because what you're passing in is the object that you want the information printed, its attributes. So what we're going to do, instead of printing it out, we're just going to go ahead and return an f string. So what I've done is I want the information indented a couple of spaces. So what we're going to do is we're going to print out the string literal plant name, colon, and a space. And then what we're going to print out is the name of the plant for the object that was passed in to the string str method. And then we're going to advance to a new line. We're going to print out the cost, and then we're going to go ahead and print out the quantity. And then after that, the program specified that we wanted to create an inventory cost function. And basically what that cost function or method will do is you'll pass in the instance that you want the inventory cost created or calculated for. And then what you're going to return is you're just going to return the value of the plant cost for that object or instance of the plant that you passed in, multiplied by its quantity, and that value will get returned when the function is called. So that is the definition of our class right now. So that's all you need to define the class. So the next thing you need to do is you need to write the program that'll go ahead and gather the input from the user and then create an instance of the plant. So what we're doing here is we just have a simple little print statement to print plant information, and then we're asking the user to input the plant's name, which will be a string, the plant's cost, which will be a float, and the plant's quantity, which will be an integer. So those values will get passed in. And then on line 21, we're going to go ahead and create a plant instance called myPlant. And what we're going to do is we're going to pass into the init method the information that the user specified. So it's the name, cost, and quantity that the user specified on line 16 through 18. And we'll go ahead, pass that into the init, and then what'll happen is myPlant will get created. And then what we want to do is we want to display the plant information. So in order to call the str method, all we have to do is we need to just go ahead and specify the name of the instance that we created. So you do not have to go ahead and specify the name of the method afterwards using dot notation. You could just go ahead and specify the name of the instance that you created on, in this case, on line 21. And what that'll do is that'll call our string, our str method up above, and it'll print information about our plant. And then the next thing they want us to do is they want us to get the total inventory cost for that plant. So again, what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and use dot notation, and we're going to call the inventory cost method on our myPlant instance. And whatever value that gets returned, which is the inventory cost, we're going to go ahead and format it with two decimal places to the right of the decimal. So again, this is our function or our method call right here. We're using the dot notation, and we're going to be returning the cost. So that's why we're going to format the value returned by our inventory underscore cost, a method that we've created in our plant class. So what we're going to do next is we're just going to go ahead and run the program. So I'll just click on run module. We're going to go ahead and enter some information. It's going to be just a fern. We're going to enter the plant's cost. Let's just say $4.99, and there's going to be 5 in inventory. So what gets printed out is the plant name, which is the fern, the cost, which is $4.99, the quantity, which is so it looks like we have a little error. It looks like we have a $sign for the quantity. So let's go in and actually fix that. So let's scroll on down to our quantity, and what we want to do is in our str function, we just want to get rid of that $sign. So let's go ahead and rerun the program here. So we're going to have Fern. It'll be $4.99. There's going to be 5 of them. So what we get is we could get the correct information now, $4.99, a quantity of 5, and then that's just $4.99 times 5, and we formatted it with 2 decimals to the right of the decimal place. So that is just a brief little program that walks you through how you would go ahead and create a plant class in Python. So that's all I had for this video.